So that's it, huh? 2018, almost over. And not 1 inch closer to making a new friend. Not one new meaningful connection. To be a kid again. Slapping Pokemon Red into my Game Boy Pocket, taking it down to the creek, finding an abandoned gun, and look, I'm just glad Pokemon has been a part of my life for as long as it has, and that's really what these Let's Go games have been all about. Whether it's a new batch of young ones raised through the frantic streets of Pokemon Go, or lapsed old fans who grew up on Gen 1, Let's Go aims to catch both of those demographics in its balls, while also satisfying longtime fans like myself with surprisingly good shakeups to the time-tested formula. The game offers a faithfully recreated Kanto region and a retelling of the story told in Pokemon Yellow, allowing you to hang out with either Eevee or Pikachu, depending on which version you bought. On top of that, the changes that have proven to be most controversial pre-launch and post-launch have also proven to be my favorite things done to the series in a very long time. Doing away with random battles in favor of the Pokemon existing in the overworld has made the routes in between cities and towns feel more alive. Large patches of emptiness are now filled with familiar faces from the original 150, and no longer are we beating the shit out of them only to domesticate them. Instead, we are taking our Pokeballs and throwing them through their red rings of death a la Pokemon Go. For some, not being able to battle those wild Pokemon prior to catching them leaves a pretty large void in the Pokemon experience they grew up with. For me, with the sheer amount of trainer battles in this game, being able to break up that pace and engage in some XP farming and catching that isn't just more battling is such a relief and proves to offer two distinct sides of the game that, in my opinion, makes this one of my favorite entries in the series. I love roguelites. I love roguelites so much that I continue to play them even though I am certified platinum at sucking ass at them. This unfortunate reality is no different with Dead Cells, but that's okay, because I softened that blow thanks to Dead Cells feeling so friggin' good to play. Dying and starting over never really pisses me off in this game because the feel of the gameplay is not 100% reliant on whether you lucked out on a chest or loot drop, like some of the other roguelites on the market. The combat is fast, responsive, and for me personally, fun to operate even with just a starting bow or shield. Stomping and stunning enemies from above, freezing them and prep for a satisfying kaboom, or simply smashing their face in with a hammer, the arsenal presented to the player in Dead Cells has something for every style and build. The meta progression roguelites are known for can feel a bit grindy in the beginning, but once you get on a roll and start unlocking more items into your loot pool, that feeling starts to go away mid-game. One day I will see the final boss of this game. One day. One day that's not today. Maybe one day, Mom. I'll make you proud. It's a bird! It's a plane! No, it's number 8, Marvel's Spider-Man. Look, this game rocks. I could probably move on to number 7 because this game rocks is all you really need to know, but instead, I'll tell you that while Spider-Man doesn't do anything truly new with the open world formula, it's got outposts, collectibles, time challenges, random encounters, towers, etc., etc., it proves that you don't have to reinvent the wheel to have fun again. Instead, you just need to make that wheel fun as hell to operate. Turns out all those things people were getting bored of are as good as new when you're the goddamn Spider-Man. When you first get access to swinging around the city, it's like getting a text back from your crush. A moment you've been anxiously awaiting, praying it's what you hope for, and then boom! You're swinging, baby. The traversal isn't the only good thing about Spider-Man, although we could probably get away with that. Spidey's story is a very, very good one and presents one of the best portrayals of Peter Parker to date. While the traditional punch fights with famous villains is here, it's the interpersonal story beats that stick with you long after it's over. This game touches on some very surprising themes and goes places I was not expecting it to go at all. That sentence is vague window dressing, but I'm not gonna spoil ya, you big dummy! I've been trying to crack into the Monster Hunter series for a long time. I tried to commit to the 3DS iterations, hell, even got myself that circle pad growth for my OG 3DS, but for me something always felt off about playing the game on a handheld platform. My big dumb brain wanted to see these big sons of bitches on a bigger screen. I wanted better control. In 2018, Capcom gave this to me. But they didn't just give it to me. They gave it to millions and millions of people as this beloved franchise finally hit its mark in the mainstream. The world finally got a taste of what Monster Hunter fans have been raving to us about from their dark alleys all these years. A game that boasts a robust and super in-depth weapon system, with each one being so intense to master, entire action games could be created around them. A loot system that carves its way through crafting instead of praying for an exotic engram or legendary set drop, which is certainly a nice change of pace because while certain monster parts and gems are still reliant on RNG, it's comforting knowing exactly what I need to beat up to work towards my reward. With a paid expansion dropping later this year, I'm feeling that I'll be writing up a blurb about Monster Hunter World for GOTY lists for years to come.
名前ぐらい教えてもろてもええやないですか。桐生一馬だ。堂島の竜、登場界の桐生一馬さんですか。
Now, just because I'm holding out on playing Yakuza 6 until we get news of Sega's PS4 ports of Yakuza's 3 through 5 didn't mean that I'd have to deprive myself of more Kamurocho for another year, as we got 2 full-length Yakuza games in 2018, baby! Yakuza Kiwami 2 is the lovingly crafted, top-to-bottom remake of Kiryu's second journey from the PlayStation 2, and god damn is it a good one! Now, having not played Yakuza 6, this is my first time on the dance floor with their new Dragon engine. And holy shit is it beautiful! Seeing Kamurocho and Sotenbori brimming with life, entering shops and restaurants without loading, and the heavier, more physics-based combat help view Kiryu's day-to-day in a much, much prettier way. Now, as expected, the story is over the top, dramatic, gripping, and full of more testosterone than the last 4 Gears titles combined, and that is exactly what I have come to love and expect of Yakuza. Yakuza Kiwami 2 is as good an entry as ever and makes me very, very excited for Judgment, and seeing the future of this engine, baby.
Company man woke me up. Said you'd need ferry to the Obra Dinn. Not many eager for that job.
I have amassed a lot of student debt, and it didn't help me at all in Return of the Obra Dinn. Papers, Please creator Lucas Pope's new masterpiece sees you as an insurance adjuster, hoping to give the families and survivors of the Obra Dinn's mysterious and tragic voyage their due. Equipped with a magic time Death Skull compass, you get to relive the final moments of the Obra Dinn's passengers as they get shot, impaled, escape, and plot their way around the ship's ruined weekend. It's up to you, while reliving these moments, to piece together how each one met their demise, and the methods in which you do so make you feel like such a smarty pants, and also such a worthless, stupid idiot all the same. Oh, also, I'd like to not forget to mention that it features probably my favorite soundtrack of the year.
Come follow me. I'll show you the side of the world, the places that you've never seen. Come follow me. Come follow me. I'll show you the side of yourself, the person that you've always been. but never drew.
Gosh, I love this game so damn much. Ever since their reveal trailer, watching it over and over again to hear their poster child song, Connected, I have been waiting to immerse myself in VR Tetris. Even better, Tetsuya Mizuguchi's VR Tetris. When Mizuguchi's style clicks with you, it's hard to beat as it completely grabs a hold of you and does not let go. Res Infinite's Area X in VR accomplished this for me, and Tetris Effect has now accomplished this for me. If you react to synesthetic experiences like this as strongly as I do, and you're willing to buy into this hopeful future that Mizuguchi is selling here, then Tetris Effect, besides being a perfect Tetris game, is an emotionally resonant experience that I continue to go back to in VR and on my television every single day since it came out. My Tetris skills have improved immensely, and seeing that progress coupled with this game's message makes me feel pretty damn good about myself, man. Nice VR representation on my list this year, and for good reason, as the platform receives some of its best experiences since becoming a consumer product, and Astrobot Rescue Mission sits among and is the best of them. Prior to launch, we had vague press tweets such as VR getting its Mario 64 moment, and while it's unfair to spring such a comparison onto Astrobot's shoulders against his will, I understand that sentiment. While I wouldn't compare it as a game to Mario 64, although there are similarities, I would absolutely compare that euphoria of experiencing something familiar in an all-new way, which is what I imagine those people were saying. Subverting what we have come to expect and want out of VR is what I love most about this year's big VR releases. Astrobot is a perfectly squeezed glass of joy. Its music, its level design, and its protagonist all lovingly nurture you in its world, a world full of cleverly placed secrets, inventive uses of the DualShock 4, Gurren Lagann scale boss fights, unlockable challenge levels, but most important of all, an overwhelming sense of presence in a world so much like one we've been dying to live in since we were children. Astrobot is not just one of the best games VR has to offer, it's one of my favorite experiences of this generation. Never before have we been given the keys to a Kratos story as evocative as the one between him and his son Atreus. A story that finds the two of them tasked with setting off to spread the ashes of Atreus' departed mother. A story that reveals a side of Kratos that we have yet to see in any previous God of War entry, and a side of Kratos that we are ever so familiar with. A side that he is trying so hard to suppress in service of being a better father, in service of respectfully mourning the loss of his wife. And that's a theme that is present throughout all of 2018's God of War. How you internalize pain growing up, making mistakes, and coming to terms with who you are to, as Kratos puts it, be better. Now, all of that emotional storytelling is all fine and good, but what about the God of War stuff? You know, the ripping fools in half stuff. And I'm happy to report that 2018's God of War does that just about as good as any action game ever before it. Taking God of War and bringing it down to the ground for a more claustrophobic and up-close and personal view could have been controversial and bad, but Cory Barlog and company fucking nailed it. Hacking and slashing and throwing that Leviathan axe is about as satisfying as anyone could have ever hoped for, and I loved every second of my time with this game's combat. Not to mention the RPG and loot mechanics, which cater so much to the code of satisfying Billy Conway. I can talk all day about God of War, all day about its masterclass pacing, its characters, the way it allows you to poke and prod at its ever-shifting hub area, Lake of Nine, uncovering side quests and mini-bosses and post-game areas. The list goes on. There are still things in this game I have yet to complete. And instead of feeling bad about that it's almost a year gone now since I put the game down, I'm not feeling pressured at all. Instead, I simply feel happy. I still have more of this game just sitting there ready to be played. Fuck yeah, man!
I can enhance her for you right now if it so pleases you, son of a bitch.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is a big, ambitious, beautiful, and contentious video game. A game that I had almost unrealistic expectations for. A game that I'm having trouble writing about because there's just so much I'd like to say and I don't want to miss anything. But if you ran into me on the street and asked for the elevator pitch for Red Dead Redemption 2, I'd tell you that it's a game set in its ways. A game hoping to evoke a certain feeling or a certain sense of immersion. A place in an open world so ambitious with so much going on under its hood. A game with a story to tell that will fill you with warmth, fear, camaraderie. It'll create hope, make you laugh, and break your heart. I spent 93 hours with Red Dead Redemption 2, and 93 hours that I would happily spend again, and again, and again, as there's just something so special about that there Arthur Morgan and the Vanderlyn gang, hanging out in camp with them while parties break out, spending one-on-one time with friends, fishing, and just seeing and soaking in the sights and sounds of small towns like Valentine or larger cities like Saint Denis. All of that stuff enraptured me. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game full of big moments. But for every big moment, there's about 20 other smaller moments that you want to go home and tell somebody about. Whether it's goofy hijinks out in the open world or a heart-wrenching optional conversation with a gang member in camp, every time I sat down with this game, I had something else to note. While others had issues with its pacing and the way its systems interacted with the player, I never felt any of that. And I was thankful for the way it did things, as I spent every minute of it soaking it in. Never once felt a semblance of burnout. Rockstar completely outdid themselves with Red Dead Redemption 2, a release that is undoubtedly their best work, and one that will be among the very tippy top of my all-time list for the rest of my days.
Lonesome cowboy, poor lonesome cowboy, and a long ways from home. I ain't got no brother, I ain't got no brother, I ain't got no brother to drive the steers with me. I'm a poor lonesome cowboy, poor lonesome cowboy.